With Spider-Man PS4 coming to E3 and the game actually releasing on September 7th, I wanted to make a video about the villains that I want to see in this highly anticipated game. And this list is gonna go from normal characters and will get progressively weirder. There's a bunch of videos about cool villains that should be in this video game, but I want to see some really peculiar ones be represented in Spider-Man PS4. To start off, the Enforcers. These guys are a set of villains that appeared early on in Spider-Man's career. The group is comprised of Montana, which, get this, a guy from Montana, who uses a lasso as a weapon. Ox, a brute with superhuman strength, and Fancy Dan, a criminal who is well versed in multiple martial arts and is a skilled marksman. His weapon of choice is usually a gun. Big surprise there, but he also uses a throwing knife. The reason I chose the Enforcers to be part of this list is because they have been known to partner with Kingpin and the Green Goblin, and if you didn't know already, both Kingpin and Green Goblin, well, technically Norman Osborn, are both in Spider-Man PS4. So the likelihood of them coming up, I would say, is pretty high. Just imagine having a mission where you had to take down all three of these guys before getting to Kingpin. I think each of their unique skill set would provide a fun challenge in terms of gameplay. Next up on my list is the most Australian villain in the Spider-Man universe, and that's the Kangaroo. And fun fact, there actually have been two people who have taken on the prestigious mantle of the Kangaroo. The first Kangaroo, aka Frank Oliver, grew up studying that animal. He grew up studying kangaroos in his childhood, and he would follow them, he would see where they would live, he would eat what they would eat, you know, normal kid stuff. Eventually, he became a boxer, but was actually disqualified for being a boxer because he injured somebody really badly. So moving on to the second Kangaroo, Brian Hibbs. Brian Hibbs was an interior decorator that always wanted to become a supervillain, like most interior decorators. Yeah, that's pretty much the origin story of the Kangaroo. Some of the powers of the Kangaroo, including superhuman strength in his legs, so he can jump really high, and I'm pretty sure kick really hard. And you may think, oh, Kangaroo, that's such a silly villain. Why Kangaroo? Have you seen a kangaroo? Those things are scary. Well, like, look at this image of a kangaroo. That guy is jacked. Jack the Kangaroo. That's a movie. I'm gonna keep going on with this video. I think having this kind of character in Spider-Man would be so fun. Like, just imagine seeing the Kangaroo jumping from building to building and you having to web swing and try to stop him in whatever way possible. I think that'd be so funny and really fun, so I think Insomniac should really hop to that. It's so bad. Another cool villain to have in the game would be the Spot, a guy that's really into Dalmatians. The Spot's real name is Jonathan On. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that correctly. And to make a long story short, Jonathan On was a scientist that was really into portals, so he stepped into one, pun intended, and he became a portal. And with this transformation, Jonathan became the Spot, and his powers include creating portals and being able to teleport using those portals. And that power is really cool to me. There's actually this funny image where Spidey's trying to punch the Spot, and the Spot made a portal where the fist would hit Spidey's face instead. This villain is too fun to pass up on. Imagine a scenario where you're facing the portal and you're trying to hit him with, I don't know, you web up a chair and you try to throw it at him. And instead, the chair, instead of hitting the portal, it would hit you from the back. You have to time yourself right and how to defeat this villain. Next villain, the Big Wheel. Big Wheel, formerly known as Jason Wheel, a little on the nose there. Also, if you look at the wiki, his name was legally changed from Axel Wheel. You know, I think he should continue this trend where he continues to name his kids something car related. So he's like, come over here, son, come here, tire pressure, come over here, Vin Diesel, you know? I think that would be, yeah. Bad jokes aside, for now, the origin story of the Big Wheel was that he hired the Tinkerer, which is another Spider-Man villain, hired him to create this huge mono wheel that's armored, that's decked out with rocket launchers and machine guns, and it just really conveys to the audience that he's compensating. Besides the name, having Spidey fight a huge wheel throughout Manhattan would be a sight to behold. And we already know how Insomniac likes to implement inanimate objects as a boss, as we've seen in Sunset Overdrive.
That's why I couldn't find the weapon inside the building. The building was the weapon. So I have to fight a building?
The last on my list of villains, but certainly not the least, drumroll please, is the Wall. That's right, there's an actual Spider-Man villain called the Wall. His real name is Joshua Waldemeier. Man, Marvel really loves their puns. Instead of me just explaining it to you, I'm gonna read to you his origin story because it's just so weird and funny. While happily working at his part-time job one day, laying bricks and pouring cement, Joshua Waldemeier was caught in a sudden explosion, because why not? The blast sent one of the walls Joshua had been working on tumbling down on top of him. Instead of crushing Joshua, the accident binds him with the bricks, creating a living wall. Soon after his accident, Joshua finds himself wreaking havoc, stumbling into a New York Mets game, interfering with the players and manipulating the umpires. Cause you know, that's what I would do if I had superpowers. Just go to a Mets game and just start going crazy. And ultimately knocking out an ump. It says ump. We all know it's umpire, but I'm gonna say because that sounds funny. Spider-Man, who just happened to be at the game, taking it on an off day, sounds weird, steps in to save the day. Spider-Man's webbing is powerless against the wall, and he does not feel any pain from Spidey's physical attacks. So the umpire that the wall knocked out has his senses back, gets mad, and states that non-players are not allowed on the field. I'm not making this up. This isn't a legitimate storyline in a Spider-Man comic. So Spider-Man and the Wall were forced to leave. So instead of Spider-Man saving the day, it was actually the umpire. So good on you. Umpire Appreciation Day. Spider-Man and the Wall then retreat to a nearby park bench and talk things out. Powers and abilities. This is really funny. The Wall has superhuman strength. He has the strength and durability of concrete, which is pretty cool. Superhuman speed. That's pretty funny coming from a man that's actually called the Wall. And the Wall has been seen moving faster than an average man, let alone a brick wall, which is really surprising there. His abilities include toppling. The Wall can topple himself over and right himself back up. I think he uses legs to maneuver, but what I imagine is he's like a domino, so he just falls flat and then just flips right back up and keeps doing that. So that's such a funny image to me. So please, Insomniac, please include
a wall, a big, beautiful, powerful wall
in this game. It's just, that'd be such a funny side mission. And this is funny. Unusual features. Literally a brick wall. Has no arms. So, yeah, you should include the Wall. Please do. I'm gonna take off my headphones. And that's my list of Spider-Man villains. If you enjoyed me talking about this video game, please hit that like button. And if you didn't like this video, let me know why in the comments down below. And feel free to dislike it. Subscribe if you want to see more content like this. And again, thank you so much for watching. And until next time, peace.